Okay, gonna touch on a few things today. Mostly focus on RV Tournament, which is an app. If you don't know what that means, it means remote viewing. So it's a beautiful windy day. Always put yourself out in nature, expand your consciousness, meditate, and as you expand your consciousness, you can feel and see the elements. Okay, you see it through your mind's eye, and then you feel it through your nervous system. All right, that electromagnetic field. So I've got the old school headsets. I actually wear these more than I use these. Limit these. Of course, everything is during the Kali Yuga is polluted. All elements are polluted at this moment in time, unfortunately, and these produce a huge amount of EMF. So go old school if you can. You don't want the radiation right into your ear next to your brain, okay? Because that stuff penetrates through the skull. Anyway, yeah, so speaking of which, detox, my two favorite teas, okay? And we'll open it up and we'll see if there's a message in there. All right, so the tea bag message is, breath is the voice of soul, and the other one is, the universe is within you, bright and beautiful. Great positive messages. So I'm going to go ahead and let this sit in the one at a time. Let this sit in the cup here. All right. So as the tea simmers, I'm going to take a look at my Wolfie. There she is. She's a little dirty. It's hard to keep a white coat clean, but you do the best you can. And let me tell you, when I brush her with the Furminator, man, I'm talking about 3 bags of that undercoat comes off her. I'm not kidding. I'm not over exaggerating either. It takes about a good 2 days to completely get her winter coat off of her into the summer. Anyways, we'll talk about some remote viewing. I like to provide data and evidence that if you claim to do what you can do, hopefully you have some kind of data. We live in a time, again, during the Kali Yuga, that people make all kinds of claims and things of that nature. And do they really have these abilities? Do what they say actually affect the world itself? Such as the weather or an event that happens in the probabilistic future. Does that manifest? Does that materialize? Can they do the telekinesis from a distance? Can they, go to battle in the non-physical if necessary? There's again, you have the God potential within you, right? So we'll talk a little bit about remote viewing, the RV tournament, which I'm in. RV tournament is basically a worldwide tournament where they rank you and they look at your probability to see, how accurate you are. When you go back to the Russell Targ days, Indo Swang, Pat Price, Joe McMongle, these guys are in their own sense legends. But I tend to think what I have found is that females, they leave females out, right? It's crazy. I don't know if you know this, but like females, and this is after working in the medical field for so long, you pick up certain things. They naturally, it's natural for females to be intuitive. It's natural for females to just like, it's a part of their nature. It's like, men have a protective mechanism in them to protect the tribe or protect the females and the children, and it's natural for them to like go on the hunt, right? Because it's like ingrained in them. It's like just part of their being, genetically, right? And females, I find that intuitively they're more balanced and they're more into nature, so it's easier for them to be involved in the occult and witchcraft. And see, those are trigger words, right? Those are trigger words for people that don't really understand metaphysics and energy. It's part of their being. It's part of their makeup. they're intuitively, naturally nurturers. That's why in the medical field, you know, you look at the ratio between men and women, and the women are probably, for every 10 women, there's probably like 3 or 4 men, right? So, because it's a natural thing for them to be healers. So that being said, when you talk about like oppression of women, I just think of it as like spiritually and healing wise. Because I find that most likely the best healers and psychics are females. But that's because it's sort of a genetic, natural thing for them just to be a part of nature. It's easier for them to understand that they can commune with the spirits and nature and be a nurturer. It's they're not so analytical. Their brain operates mostly on the right side. Okay, that's their primary operation, which is the intuitive side, and then males are left side, analytical. Think of everything and analysis and all that stuff. So the men have to just understand. Okay, I've got the left brain down. Now I need to focus on the right side of the brain, that intuitive aspect. And then vice versa for females, right? You can be so intuitive that you just are ungrounded and you're not really here, okay? A portion, when you think about consciousness and expanded consciousness, it means that basically like 90% or more is elsewhere in an expanded state of consciousness, and you're only like 10% grounded here on Earth. So you kind of don't make any sense. Do you know what I mean? To a lot of people, because a lot of people here are grounded to Earth, and they think of earthly possessions and only Earth reality. So it's hard so you just have to learn how to center and balance yourself and ground your awareness more into 3D. I know it sucks. Trust me, I know. And then try to relate to people, or try to make metaphors that make sense to people. All right, now that I said all that about male and female, let's talk about remote viewing. All right, so this RV tournament gives you 3 practice runs a day, okay? And then after the practice runs are done, you play 1 round, and that 1 round gets worldwide ranked into its ranking system. And the thing about this is, if you don't keep up with it every day, and you don't even play, you really go down the tubes regarding your ranking. Like you can go from like number 1 to like 50 or 100 if you don't play a couple of days. It'll really push you back. So you got to keep up with this. I miss some days here and there. Sometimes I just take a break of it altogether, and it pushes my ranking way, way, way back. Okay, so don't get too like hung up on the top ranks all the time, this and that. Don't do that, because I'm telling you, you miss one day or you get really pushed back. So and people have lives and shit, so they want to live life too, not just always looking to the future and remote view and things of that nature. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and share with you 3 practice runs. One of the audio is a little messed up, but I fixed that. And then you'll see my ranking. And then we'll talk about the probabilistic future of World War III. And then, unfortunately, the situation we're in regarding nuclear war. Okay. But right now we're going to go ahead and run these practice runs. All right. So 7188-7101. So we're going to, again, what we do is we get impressions into our mind's eye. First thing first is what we get, and then identify without. We describe without identifying. Okay. I'm getting this weird. squirm, swirl, slither, circular, wrapped up, red and blacks. So I'm getting a lot of these like squiggle. I don't know. This thing is like on the floor. Coil, spring-like, jumping. All right, swirl, slither. I'm getting circular here in the middle, and then on the bottom, like I don't know if it like coils, it slithers a lot, springing up. I'm getting jumping, and I'm getting red and blacks. So let's see. Oh, nice. Okay, that definitely is wrapped up, and it slithers, spring-like coil. That's how snakes are. So let's see if I got it. Bam. I got the color too. Red and blacks. There's a bit of tan in there though. But mostly most of the color of the snake is red and black. Alright, I got some shitty audio, so hopefully this one is better. So 0353-1603, clear the mind, allow the information to flood into the mind's eye. Remember, we're trying to describe without identifying. It's like hopefully you don't hear that idiot in the background, man. I'm at the gym, so he's cussing on the phone. Let's see here. Multiple line stems, small twig-like, green, nature scene, upward movement, growing, lush. Yeah, it's a lot of like I don't want to call them scars, but they're like growing and thriving. So I feel like old. Something feels old here. Old or ancient. I see what we got. Oh, okay. All right, so what was it? I said twigs, right? Like multiple stem twigs. Brown, old, ancient. I did say green nature scene. So I'm going to go with like grass blades. I'm going to go with all those stems. Like you can see the twigs next to the, like a raccoon or a rat or whatever. I think it's a raccoon, like a little miniature baby, some kind of mammal. But I can see these twigs here. So the twigs came into the mind's eye. In the background, when you look, the stems of grass are there. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to go with that. Bam. Oh, perfect. Look up left corner, 1010. It's how the universe works, baby. Okay, let's play the last one. Last practice round. 91, 91, 94, 24. Clear the mind. Allow the information to flood in. Getting layered after layered, like panels. Getting grays. Granite, like, let's see. Multiple layered, getting like paneled, multiple layered, stacked thinly. Some kind of like what do you call that? Granite or garnet, or it's like the stuff they have in like houses, like on the countertops. Getting that hard rock crystallized. Let's see. Getting grays. Dark colors. Cement like. Alright. Paneled, multiple layered, stacked thinly, hard rock crystallized, getting dark colors, cement like. Kind of like countertop or something. So we'll see. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, I think I said crystallized rock, layered, set like a... So you see how, like, look to the left. Do you see those lines there on the rock? What do you call that? Sediment? You see how they're layered? So this comes into the mind's eye. And I did say, like, crystallized rock, garnet type, dark colors, which is sort of dark brown. And then I did say crystallized. What else did I say? I said that just that it was layered. Oh, garnet, right? I said it was garnet. So I think, so when you think elements, so, think rock, earth, like I had said countertop, but, that comes from the earth. So, and it comes from like, like sediment. So we're going to go with this here, like the layered crystallized rock. So let's see. Bam. All right, folks, this is part of remote viewing, baby. You got to practice and make sure you start doing your prepping, okay? Potassium iodine, because these crazy fucking people, they don't give a fuck anymore, dude. They just want war. They just want to make a lot of money. That's all people care about nowadays. All right, so this just updated here for the month of May. I'm still at number 2. All-time 15. We look here, top ranks. Look at the tab that says May. I'm tied at 86 points with this diviner 1965. Most likely a female. I'm telling you, females rock. All-time here at 15. Don't get discouraged. Remember, keep practicing and don't. All right, so this is not to like spread fear, okay? But you have to understand something when it comes to like being optimistic. You need to also be realistic, okay? Because I've stressed this in past videos, not to put yourself in a state of superficial optimism. Because what happens is you get out of touch, and then when real world events happen and manifest themselves, you get completely like thrown off. You get completely like shell shocked, so don't do that to yourself, right? You want to manifest the best probabilistic reality for yourself, but also you need a backup plan. That's just the way, that's how I operate, at least, because there's too many crazy people that got a hold of power and control, and they're like little 3-year-olds with a bazooka. Okay? It's just ridiculous the way this planet operates. So, that being said, you start looking at the elite, and they're starting to want to advance their or rush job their bunkers. You look how they're pulling more and more foreign ambassadors out of Russia and vice versa, right? And you look at the world and how it's escalating. It's not de-escalating. The politics, all they do is pass bills to send more money to Ukraine and Israel. That's all they do. They're not worth a shit. Okay? So they're all for war. It's crazy. Do you know what I mean? It's like, don't you want to de-escalate the situation? Don't you want to start compromising at the table? Like, you would think, like, sane people, do you know what I mean? Like, people that actually understand, like, the horrific tragedies of war, especially nuclear war. You would think they'd want to come to the table. You know what I mean? These people are fucking nuts, dude. Anyway. So you need you need to be prepared here a little bit, okay? Backup plan. So potassium iodine, get your life water straw, basic things, man. You don't necessarily need to go all out, okay? And worst case scenario, you have to seal up the house regarding like the air ventilation. I don't want to make this a prepper channel, okay? But you need the basic things, all right? At least 3 to 6 months worth of food and fresh water, okay? A bug out place, all right, and you need grit, and the only way to get grit is life experience, unfortunately. But yeah, so we're not anywhere near out of like the range of the 81% probability I have of nuclear war. Okay. Now remember, when it comes to world geopolitics, at 81%, it increases 1% a month, and by November we're going to be like at 87% probability. Okay. Probability fluctuates based on free will choice, right? So that's why it's very important for sane people to make the right free will choice to de-escalate the situation when it comes to geopolitics. Okay? Clearly they're not doing that. Clearly they're not making the right free will choice. So it pushes us further and further into a higher probability of nuclear war. So this is how probability works. Okay? So that's why free will choice is extremely, extremely important. Making conscious free will choice. Okay. On a positive note, there are non-physical entities, okay, that oversee what's going on regarding the probability of setting off nuclear bombs, EMPs, okay. The thing with that is, though, and this is what I've noticed, this is based on experience, okay? They can indirectly influence, but they're not really supposed to directly influence. So indirectly is part of the game, and that happens all the time. Directly interfere is super rare. It's not that hasn't happened before, though, because there's plenty of information out there where there has been extraterrestrial, or I should say interdimensional interference that materializes and then dematerializes into our 3D world, and then cuts off the nukes, powers it down, or manipulates the electronics. So again, that's a good thing because again, we have 3-year-olds with the bazooka. Just a really crazy time to be alive. So that's how I'm going to wrap up this probability. Okay, again, always with a grain of salt. Nothing is certain. Okay, there's multiple probable realities, right? People are finally starting to wake up. And a collective meditation can reduce the chaos in the world. Okay, you have to focus on where the most chaos is, collectively get into a meditation, and then you send basically positive vibes, but you need to do a little bit more than that. You need to actually get into a point-based consciousness in a really good meditation and send peace and compassion, and then it affects the chaos. Like all of a sudden people don't feel like, people that are in war, they just don't feel it that day. Like they don't feel aggressive, and they don't feel like angry, and they don't feel like shooting their brother or sister, okay? Because that's exactly what happens, okay? You shoot somebody, it's like killing yourself. It's common sense to me, but apparently we in the metaphysical community are the weird ones. This is an ass backwards world, okay? That's the way it is. But all right, so that'll be the video for World War III and the probability of a nuclear event, okay? Again, we don't want to manifest that, all right? But you need a backup plan, okay? Because there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees, okay? All right. Next video, the way I like to do my videos is it lines up with the memories. So next memory, we'll talk about Ahriman and AI and transhumanism, and touch on that a little bit about the medical field. And it's important that people in the medical field know this, because they're not really educated in the esoteric ways of certain entities such as Ahriman and Lucifer, and how they affect the material world. Okay, Rudolf Steiner wrote about this regarding technology and materialism. All right, so that's another subject. That's another video. I'll be working on that, and you guys have a good day.